Howdy there, folks. It's Meandering Mike in the Man Cave of Menace. We are doing an unboxing of this game that just came out. Order of the Day, Normandy, from the Dietz Foundation. It's supposed to be a World War II Normandy invasion card game with no dice. Let's take a look. So the shrink is now off. Let's take a quick look at the back of the box. All right, and let's zoom in here on parts of this. So you can see it says 1 to 2 players, 90 minutes to 120, age 13 plus. All right, now if we take a look here, there appears to be a board, and England's here. So this is the perspective of the Allies and the Germans on this side. Not sure why there's spots on 3 sides if it's a 1 to 2 player game. We'll find that out, right? So let's open it up, see what's inside, and then decide which components to look at first. Blocks, quite a few of them, kind of like a reddish brown. Cards, solo unit, combat, German and Allied, German. So not sure if that goes with the solo part, or if that's a combat resolution deck only. But these appear to be the cards for 2-player version. Wow. This is the board. So it's instead of being big folded out, no, it's 2 boards. We will take a look at that for certain, but let's set that aside and decide what to look at first by first opening it all up. Rule book. All right, so it's half size folded. 16, 17, 18 pages, so 16, not counting the covers. All right. Here are counter sheet number 1. All right. Double-sided. Counter sheet number 2. Double-sided. So since these are probably maybe for hidden movement, you don't reveal what is on the other side until you encounter it in battle, possibly. All right, so we got quite a variety of Allied units with their unit symbols. That's pretty cool. So that was 3 counter sheets, or 2.5. There's one was a half counter sheet. Here's another big one here. All right. Okay, so this is the main board. All right, so let's find out what these boards are first. All right, so this has one more fold. All right, I'm going to zoom out. Overflow hits, active combat, combat deck, combat discard, standard round, unit deck, unit discard. So this looks like a kind of a battle board for resolving combat. And this is the Allied one. And so we're going to assume, and I think we can do it relatively safely, there is the Germans. Very similar active combat deck, combat discard, standard round, unit decks. Okay, so that is why we saw on the back of the box the Allied's combat board the Germans' combat board, and these appear to be cards in play along the side. This appears to be a combat deck and various things going on here. All right, so let's continue to peek in there. So since we know that those are battle boards or battle resolution boards or something of that nature, let's take a look at the map. All right, it's got Normandy on the back, so we know what it is. And let's see if it says the full thing. Yes, it does. Order of the day, Normandy. All right. And so this is the perspective that we saw from the back of the box. England on this side. Now, it looks like they've split these up. The whole of northern France. 1, 2, 3 different zones. Brittany, St. Malo. So this is... I'm going to turn it around. So for those of you that are just used to looking at a map with north being up. So traditional Normandy invasion, not at Cherbourg, but Utah, Omaha, Sword, General Gold. So they're calling these two different sectors, Cherbourg and Caen. You have way over here, west of where the Allies actually invaded, Brittany and Saint-Malo, and then where the big capital H guy, AH, he assumed the invasion would come at Calais. I don't know if the red means warning, don't invade here, or blue, white, and red zones. Not sure. But Ghent, Calais, Oran. Okay, here's Paris. Now these numbers, not sure if that's victory points, economic points, replacement, who knows what that is. Some kind of value, we'll find that out. So very simple area map, split into three zones, 2 areas, 3 areas, 2 areas. So not sure how historical that would be. And here's what we were talking about on the side, which, from the back of the box we were seeing this view here. So combat, 4 spots for cards. The combat deck goes there. So it'll be interesting to see how that resolves out. Turn track, here it appears to be that 12 turns, or is that, well, again, let me turn it around. Yeah. Unfortunately, nice, depending on what this means, there was one facing the Allies versus facing the Germans. So there's 12 numbers on this track labeled Allies. And the German track, there's 5 spaces, red dot, blue square. So no idea what these represent. So that'll be interesting to find that out. All right. So now let me get the counters ready next. Uno momento. All right. So I've did a quick look through at these, and I know a few things. These guys here are for the 1943 variant scenario, so we don't care about them at first for 1944. These are invasion arrows for the Allies, like which particular spots they're invading. These ones here are the German beach defenses. The Allies don't know which beaches are best defenses. So there appears to be a fair bit of fog of war in this game. You could assume that it's going to be somewhat historical, or maybe not. The Germans might be trying to fool you and leave one part weakly defended and some other one strong. Kind of a guessing game. I'm not sure what these are. Now, these are the various divisional markers. I think these are the ones that go on the map. Now, there's the small ones and these large ones, and these have to do with the battle boards and various things here. So again, as we saw before, they're can't tell from the other side. There's also decoy divisions, and the each side has 3 of these, so they would end up being mixed in with other divisions, and you don't quite know where they are. They move the speed of a standard infantry. All right, now the Allies. Oops, just one thing punched out by mistake. So they have 3 up here and 18, so they have 21 total divisions. So there's, not counting the decoys, so there was 9 and there's 12. So there's their 21 plus 3 decoys. The Germans have 15. They have their 3, well, let's see, 3 decoys. Here is, that one came out. Let's put that back in like that. So there's 6, 7, 8, 9, and 6 more here on this half sheet. So 15 divisions for the Germans, 21 for the Allies. There's Allied fighter support. Here's some more of the 1943 variants. These little tiny markers are what was on that bottom track down there to keep track of which space you're on. And I think this, yeah, this is 1943 also, where I guess you cover up that 5th and the 11th and 12th turn. You put this over the top of it, and you only go to 4 and 10. These, I am not sure if these, I think they called them resistance markers. I took a quick look through the rule book, which I'll show you in a minute. Unfortunately, there is not a key to all those unit types. So here they list them all. So you have the names of all of them. So obviously there's a bunch of cards there we haven't looked at yet, but there's various kinds of tokens or tiles. And by the count, I was able to figure out some of these things. 4 fighters tiles. Yeah, okay. 12, I think those are the hexagonal. I think there's 12 of those. So resistance tiles, is that like the French resistance or some other kind of German point of resistance that's not maneuverable? You know, like static defenses on the beach, other than those initial beach tiles, not sure. Hit cubes. So these are hits, you know, marking the damage against the various units. Yeah, so we see 3 decoys each. Combat and control tokens. So those must be these ones here. So this must be in the middle of combat, and these are, you're fighting over control of it. And again, we don't know that because they should have utilized these extra blank pages here. Meandering Mike, I'm going to call it. I call it as I see it. They are missing an important thing in here, and that is telling you exactly what they look like. So you'll be able to do like I did. But so there's some setup things that tells put this here, there, but they don't show everything. They mention some things, defense tiles and resistance tiles. So okay, so I guess we can figure out that so those are resistance, those are defense. Again, by the counts, we'll be able to do that. But some of these you have to sort of dig through here and find it. So there are no pictures of the units, the counters labeled here. So you know, again, within the reading of this, you can figure out what some of these things are. But so Dietz Foundation designer Philip Dewberry, definitely get a player aid out there. Get it on your website, put it on BGG with a key to all those different unit types. It'll make people setting up the game and trying to rule how to play much easier. All right, so far that's not a major problem, but I figured that off camera. Sometimes I do that stuff on camera, and that sort of takes too long. So So we've looked at the rule book here. We've looked at the counter sheets, hit cubes, hit markers. So cards. Let me take a quick look. Be back. All right. So took off the wrapping. I looked at this one first. These are all Allied unit cards, and I looked in the rule book, and it said right there that there are 45 Allied unit cards, and I counted them. There's 41. I said, oh no! Well, don't panic. There's 41 here, and in this German deck, there was 4 cards in the German deck. So there's one more unit card and some draw 2 additional unit cards. So within the Allied mix, there's now 45, like it says, 45 Allied total cards, and the Germans said 36. So there was 41 cards in one and 40 in the other. You take 4 out to there to make 45 and 36. Now, there are no of those draw additional. Oh, I'm lying. There's 2, draw 3 additional unit cards. Tiger Battalion. Wow. All right. So that's just a quick look at what these look like. Obviously, this is where those hit cubes come into play. So each card represents different things. Here's a headquarters with a medical battalion and artillery regiment. A couple of things. Here's machine gun battalions. Here's an infantry unit with attached medical battalion, a paratrooper battalion with Ost. Ost is east, right? An east battalion? Doesn't Ost mean east in German? Or does it mean something different in this context? All right. So, a quick look through those. And so same kind of infantry regiments with attached artillery, machine guns. Okay, here's an anti-tank. So machine gun and anti-tank. Oh, 2 anti-tank. A bunch of bazookas. Here's a headquarters, medical battalion. Let's see here. Let me find some armor. I saw, okay, here's mechanized infantry. Oh, with mechanized artillery, very nice. And a maintenance battalion, very cool. Very cool, all right. So you got your M3 A1 half tracks, mechanized artillery to go with it. And maintenance battalions, very nice. Tank battalion with recon battalion attached and maintenance. Ooh, M7 priests. I love M7 priests. That's my very first, war game. Panzer 44 SPI. That was the coolest unit in there. The M7 priest. Just fell in love with them. All right, so let's quickly go back and see one of those German. Here we go. Panzer Battalion, Panzer IVs. That's, I don't know if you can see that. That's a kind of armored car. Actually, no, that's the half-track equivalent. I was looking at the designation, and there's an armored car that has a very similar designation to it. But that font, trying to look at the cards, I mean, you can probably see it better than I can. Like if I look through the camera, but looking past the camera at the cards, sometimes it's very hard for me to read. Okay, here's a headquarters with Panzer Battalion attached. And here they have some self-propelled artillery. Ooh, there we go. Here's a big one. Panzer 6 Tigers with Panzer 4 attachment also. So there we go. So there's some real meat in here. And all sorts of various headquarters and support units and things like that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a quick look at these. All right, so I took the wrap off there and looked through these here. Now, these is the combat deck. There's supposed to be 54 combat cards. I counted them. And there's only 40. Now, don't worry. Now, these have German symbol, Allied symbol. Some have both. All right. Okay, and we'll maybe look at those in a little bit here. So the other deck, well, they're solo units, and those are supposed to be 17, and there were indeed 17 solo units here. So this is a much more generic thing in solo play. Big blocks of infantry, big blocks of armor, draw 2 additional. So obviously the nature of the combat in the solo play is quite a bit different. You don't have as much differentiation in the Germans as you're playing the Allies against them. I'm going to set that aside. So then there's a solo combat, and yeah, here we are. There's more of the other deck there. They're keeping each deck to a certain 41 cards each. And so the solo combat, there's supposed to be 9 of them, and there were indeed 9 here. So things like miss, infantry or armor hits. I don't know if that's like advance, retreat, some kind of assault symbols. Don't know about that yet, but okay. So again, solo, much simpler, more generic unit types, just big chunks of infantry and armor. And then solo combat for the German effect here, whereas this deck is used for the normal combat, any resolution, and so there can be effects against one or the other or both sides. So this will be interesting to find out how this plays, but so sort of like number of hits on a certain type. Or is this the number of hits that generates? So that'll be interesting to find out. What does that mean? Does this mean if you have these, you generate that much on the enemy? Or this is how much you're taking against those types? Headquarters. Resolve any remaining combat card, then shuffle it back in. Alst battalion. All right, so... discard without causing any damage. Oh, interesting. So this is causing. I can tell right here from this. This is cause this much damage. It says you can cause this much damage, then remove this card from the game, or you can discard. If you want to save this for later, you can just discard the card. But otherwise, if you use it here, it's going to be gone. So it said the top unit card for the next round, it will be added to your reinforcements. Okay, so interesting effects here. So this cards plus these, there was 40, plus there was 14 here, makes 54. So they're all accounted for. All the cards are accounted for. I didn't fine tooth comb everything on this list, but so far I could tell most of the things I could account for or figure out what they were. All right. So that is basically our unboxing of Normandy Order of the Day from the Dietz Foundation. Now, we could look at this in a little more detail, but we're not going to right now. Chunk of it talks about the solo variants. 1943 scenario. Now, one thing to note, there is what they call the initial invasion round 0, where you do some special things for that very first sort of like pre-turn, and then the normal course of the game starts from there. So following through this sequence of play here, you gotta do the ground 0, round 0 here, see page 16, and then you got the normal course of play here. So, Order of the Day, Normandy, from the Dietz Foundation. Now it says on the box, $40. I do not remember what I paid pre-ordering this. And I think this may have been when they got hit with the tariff bill. So after they've done all their fulfillment of the pre-orders, I can't remember if it was a Kickstarter or a Game Found or whatnot, or if it was just a pre-order on their website, they may have to up this price. Now remember, the Dietz Foundation is a not-for-profit organization. They create these games for educational purposes, mostly is their direction and rationale. But they can't lose money to keep doing it, so they may have to raise the price. So you may not be able to get this for $40 anymore. So yeah, is there anything else that I wanted to look real quick? Now, just as a side note, remember June 6, 1944, that was, the D-Day invasion. The crowdfunding for this kicked off on June 6th of 2024. So they did it on the 80th anniversary. The game was hoping to be due by the end of 2024, but there was various delays in that, and that's, unfortunately, they got hit in the middle of the tariff crunch, and so it just arrived, I think, like 2 days ago for my copy, I think it was. So, all right, folks, Meandering Mike, Man Cave of Madness, thank you for watching. Remember, take care of your games. Use plastic bands, don't do rubber bands. Do not put rubber bands around your card decks. That will hurt them if they sit a long time. Rubber bands are not friendly at all over time, especially they get heated up and cold and heated, and yeah, anyway. So remember, take care of your games, and they will take care of you. Ciao, y'all.